And here's a problem that confronts everyone who's tushing up an old building. We've got a rotten door frame, but it could be a window frame, and you've got to do something with it or replace it. I've begun on this by scraping out all the residual, also using a wire brush over this to get down between the grain, not over aggressively, and then brushing it out, then going back and seeing what extra needs to be done. That's the first step. Next, vacuum and clean it down. Once you've done your initial cleanup, assess where the really soft wood is and drill in some holes. I'm using 3 in this case, and the diameter of the holes fit in with a small funnel that I intend to use. My intention is to pour liquid fiberglass into the holes, paint the seal with the liquid fiberglass and let it set. The slow setting of the fiberglass will allow it to soak into the soft wood, creating a foundation onto which we'll put fiberglass filler. Clean up, assess where the really soft wood is, drill appropriately sized holes, get a funnel. Next stage, apply the mask up and apply the fiberglass resin. So we're now prepared for pouring. What I've used for the mixing is a plastic bottle, one of those water bottles which are really flexible. You can also use it, form it to make a pouring spout. The funnel, I'm using an old toothbrush, but the disposable brushes, pound for 5 or 6 of them, they'd work. And here's the fiberglass resin. You can buy this off of eBay, mail order it. It works out 1 litre about £10, 2.5 litre works out about £25, including postage. I'd say fiberglass resin is so useful in the renovation of outdoor windows, particularly those that have signs of rot and decay. So we're going to get on, do some pouring, and we're going to leave it. So we'll return to it every 15 minutes or so, and over an hour penetration of the fiberglass to most of the wood should be complete. We'll then have to leave it 24 hours before we start filling. Or maybe on a warm day you can leave it for a few hours to set and then start filling. Well, that's the frame saturated. The holes have been filled. I never needed the funnel. I cut the bottle at an acute angle and pinched together the point and was able to decant the fiberglass resin into the holes. I've used 3 holes on the inside, the face, and also the inside, and we've given this a good drenching. We've used about 1/3 of a litre on this bottom section, and I hope this will firm it up. The next thing is the filling, and that's the fiberglass filler. So we can apply that. I'm going to leave the graining on the wood but just really concentrate on tidying up, not really making square the decayed wood, but smoothing off, and then that's ready for priming and painting. I hope it's given you a bit of an idea of how to approach this. Fiberglass resin on tidying up rotten wood is really the first step to using the fiberglass filler. The fiberglass filler will not bond on its own. It's too friable. So use the resin, use it generously, and give yourself an hour. Percolate it through. This is really inefficient just doing one door, but if you have say 3 windows you can go from one to the other. So there we are. So a bottle, a litre, you'll probably get 2 windows out of it if they're pretty shot. So what we'll do is next, wait for this to dry, return and do some filling. Oh, and by the way, you're going to need a few of these gloves. Don't attempt this without some gloves. It goes everywhere. So it's all pretty simple, and catch you with the filling. let's see what result we can achieve. Well, the job's moved on. We've now, well, I have now applied some 2-pack filler on it, 2-pack wood filler, which is in effect car body filler and can be bought as car body filler. So that's been applied, and I thinned it down slightly with some fiberglass resin so it was able to flow more easily, and we've trickled on 2 layers. Now, in the very deep recesses which I had at the bottom of the uprights, the wood was well rotted away, so I had some offcuts of hardwood that were originally from double glaze units, surround units, and I trimmed them up into small cubes and filled the void, or the majority of the void, and then applied the wood filler. And the holes, I just plugged them with a small piece of hardwood. And the next step after this is solid out is to sand it. So we'll put a disc sander on it, then we'll tickle it up with some 60 grade on by hand, and then we'll go from there. So this gives you some indication. Looking at the sill itself, possibly you could just flow clear fiberglass resin onto it, and then that would retain the natural appearance of the wood. It was rather eroded at the end, so I've had to fill it, but we'll colour in the ends, and I think I'll leave the centre part of the threshold as natural wood. So this is how far we've got to today with the car body filler, fiberglass body filler, and I think it looks promising. Perhaps we can save ourselves buying a kitchen, a rear door to the property. Let's hope so. My preferred weapons of choice are a mouse, Black & Decker mouse, and a 4-inch angle grinder. I use the 60 grade. The angle grinder, be careful. Now we've sanded down the filler, the body filler, and we've got something of a result. It'll need just the final tickling up with handheld abrasive, probably about 60 grade on that. That'll reduce it. A dust off, and then that's the sill and the uprights rejuvenated. They've been saturated with fiberglass resin, then liberally coated with diluted fiberglass body filler and sanded. Good drying weather today, so we've turned this round in a day. Hope this has given you some idea about rejuvenating windows and door frames. It really is a more superior, it's a better way, a more thorough way of actually reverting the wood into something which is more substantial and weather resistant. My experience has been with this 20-30 years. If you do this correctly, particularly on the weathered parts of the window or the door surrounds, you can stretch out the life of these structures. Hope it's been informative. Hope it's given you some ideas. Fiberglass resin, fiberglass body filler. Thanks for watching. I thought I'd re-edit the video that I made to show you what a completed result I've managed to achieve. This has all been filled. I've flowed in fiberglass, and I've coloured this in with grey undercoat and might match it. Would have been better if I could have matched it with grey epoxy, grey fiberglass filler. So it's all been filled up, sanded down, coat of primer, undercoat and top coat, and that's transformed it. So that's a result you can expect. On window frames, window sills, it really works. Drench it with fiberglass resin, use fiberglass body filler. Hope you found this useful, and I hope it saved you money. Let me know please in the comments below. Always pleased to hear. Bye.